There, everyone. Whoa, do I have a good one for you today. I've got a neat mini quiz to give yourself a checkup on how well you're doing with self-care, and your answers may surprise you. Before I jump into the quiz, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lisa Grace Wright from Your Personal Best Training Studio, and I help men and women to move better, feel better, and age actively, able to do all the things they love to do for their next 10, 20, and 30 plus years. So, February is all about the heart. Valentine's Day is just a few days away. Plus, in the US, it also happens to be Heart Awareness Month. Heart disease is the #1 killer in the United States and many other countries around the world, including Australia and major parts of Europe. Here's another super shocking stat. According to the American Heart Association, about 80% of all cardiovascular disease is preventable. This is amazing, right? 80%. That's why this assessment is so important. If you're like a lot of people, you're cruising along in some areas of your self-care, but maybe need a little improvement in others. So this quiz isn't about being perfect. It's just about taking great care of yourself because you and your heart deserve it. Are you ready for the quiz? Grab a pen and paper and write down your answers to these questions. First question, how are you doing in the diet department? Are you eating a healthy, well-balanced diet that includes mostly unprocessed foods? Do you cut back on foods that are high in sugar and instead eat a mostly plant-based diet with healthy fats and proteins? Take a second to think about what you have eaten over the past week, all the meals plus any snacks you've eaten. What grade would you give yourself on this on a scale of 1 to 5? Are there some things you can easily change to boost your grade? Well, here's how I keep score. If 20% or less of your meals were healthy, give yourself a 1. 20 to 40%, a 2. 40 to 60%, a 3. 60 to 80%, a 4. And if 80% or more of your meals were healthy, then give yourself a 5. Remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's just about seeing what you're doing daily. Write down your score, or at least remember it, because you're going to need it a little later. Okay, second, exercise and daily movement. Nearly every health organization recommends you get at least 30 minutes of exercise most days of the week for heart health. You can rack up your minutes over a day, or you can get it all done at one time. Your minutes could be walking, doing a workout, dancing, gardening, or anything else that keeps you moving. Here's how to score your activity. Let's count 20 minutes or more of intentional exercise. Even a brisk walk counts as an activity for this quiz. If you've only been active 1 day in the last week, give yourself a 1. 2 days in the last week, give yourself a 2. 3 days, a 3. 4 days, a 4. And if you've been active for 5 or more days in the last week, give yourself a high 5. Okay, now give yourself a score on a scale of 1 to 5. Third, sleep. Studies show that getting less than 7 hours of sleep a night is linked with all kinds of ailments that tie to heart disease, like stress, inflammation, high blood pressure, and weight gain. Are you getting enough sleep? If you're not, Is there anything you can do to make it happen? Do you need to go to bed earlier, or create a nighttime routine, or take some other action? It's amazing how much better you feel when you get a great night's sleep. To give yourself a score for each day in the last 7 days that you've gotten 7 or more hours of sleep, give yourself a point, up to 5 points total. Got your number? How are you doing? Still here with me? Give me a like if you are. Okay, 4th, meditation, prayer, gratitude practice. Studies show these practices can help your heart. Do you spend at least a couple minutes a day focused on reducing stress and feeling grateful? Stress reduction can take a lot of forms. It can be simply sitting and breathing, praying, taking a walk in nature, or journaling. To give yourself a score for each day in the last 7 days where you've done some form of prayer, meditation, or gratitude practice, then give yourself a point, up to 5 points total. 5th, know your numbers. When was the last time you had your blood pressure and cholesterol checked? Having these checked is good to know for everyone, but it's especially important if you're over 40. It's definitely worth asking your doctor about. To give yourself a score, give yourself a 1 if you have no idea what your numbers are. Give yourself a 3 if you've had your numbers checked within the last 3 months. And give yourself a 5 if you've had your numbers checked in the last 30 days. And last but not least, smoking. I'm not going to lecture you because you already know the deal. If you do smoke, I highly encourage you to ask your doctor about help with quitting. There are so many avenues available nowadays to make it a little less challenging, and the payoff is so worth it. Scoring. No gray area on this one. If you've smoked anything, even a single cigarette in the past 7 days, give yourself a 0. If you haven't, then give yourself a 5. Okay, so those are the areas we went over, including nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress reduction, as well as knowing your most recent health stats. Add up all your scores. The highest possible score is 30. What number did you get? How did you do? If you scored over 25, that's amazing. Good for you. If you gave yourself a score below 25, chances are you've got an area or two you want to work on to bring your overall number up. Remember, it's not about passing a quiz, but about feeling healthier, more energized, and getting the most out of your days. Maybe you're doing amazing with sleep and exercise, but you want to improve in the area of nutrition or the stress relief, or vice versa. It's time to come up with an action plan. As I mentioned earlier, this isn't about being perfect, but coming up with strategies to make self-care an enjoyable part of your lifestyle and taking great care of your heart. If you're looking for a sounding board or coaching, I'm here for you. I can help you come up with strategies that work for your lifestyle. I have a few success sessions available this week if you private message me for a 30-minute phone appointment. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your support more than you can ever know.